India is losing far more students to overseas universities than it is attracting from abroad. For every one foreign student coming to India, around 25 Indian students are going abroad for higher education, according to a new report released by the NITI Aayog. The findings are the part of the Internationalization of Higher Education in India report released by NITI Aayog Vice Chairperson Suman Berry earlier this week. The report is based on an online survey of officials, vice chancellors, senior administrators, and policymakers from over 160 Indian higher education institutions. The report notes that India hosted over 46,000 international students in 2021-22, while more than 11.5 lakh Indian students went abroad that year. By 2024, this number had increased to over 13.3 lakh, highlighting a widening imbalance in student mobility. The report states that India's current approach to internationalization is heavily lopsided towards outbound mobility, contributing significantly to brain drain. The report adds that this trend hampers innovation, weakens knowledge creation within the country, and increases dependence on foreign technology. Prepared in collaboration with IIT Madras, the Association of Indian Universities, and global education service firm Acumen, the report points out that India is struggling both to retain domestic talent and to attract international students despite policy efforts under the National Education Policy 2020. However, the think tank has projected a sharp rise in the number of inbound international students to India if systematic reforms are undertaken. It estimates that enrollment could cross 1 lakh by 2030 and reach between 7,90,000 to over 1.1 million by 2047, provided the country adopt coordinated, student-centric, and globally competitive reforms across regulation, financing, branding, and campus experiences. The report also highlights the financial impact of students studying abroad. According to Reserve Bank of India data, outward remittances of overseas education over liberalized remittance scheme rose from rupees 975 crore in 2013-14 to rupees 29,000 crore in 2023-24. This amount is nearly 53% of the union government's total higher education budget for 2023-24. While acknowledging steps such as allowing foreign universities to set up campuses in India and promoting joint and dual degree programs, the report stresses that there is a need for stronger institutional and systematic reforms to reverse the trend. It warns that with India's average age of 28.4 years, this continued outmigration of skilled youth could undermine the country's demographic advantage. The report says that the loss of educated and skilled individuals reduces India's capacity to drive development and build a strong indigenous research ecosystem. To address this, the report calls for shift towards internationalization at home, which would bring global academic standards, research practices, and perspectives into Indian academic campuses without relying solely on student mobility. The think tank recommends increasing international faculty engagement, joint research programs, credit transfer systems, and globally aligned curricula while remaining rooted in Indian context. The report also flags barriers to attracting foreign students to Indian campuses. They include infrastructural gap, visa and regulatory hurdles, limited student support services, rigid curricula, and weak global visibility. The NITI Aayog has made various suggestions, including launching a Vishwa Bandhu scholarship for international students, expanding international summer schools at top Indian institutions, revamping the Study in India initiative, and improving campus facilities and support system. To retain Indian talent, the report proposes a Vishwa Bandhu fellowship to attract global researchers and members of Indian diaspora, drawing inspiration from similar programs in countries like China and South Korea. The report concluded that sustained international academic collaboration and institutional reforms are essential for India to emerge as a global education hub and reduce the long-term impact of brain drain. That's all from me for now. Keep watching The Print for more news updates.